What up, great people? You know who it is and what it is. I am Mr. DARKEYE. You tuned in to the Mr. DARKEYE podcast right here on Anchor FM. New Soul Music, the home of motivation to trust God and live your dreams. Giving a shout out to my sponsor, the Super Icy Brothers Premium Frozen Dessert Shop, located in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and Pineville, North Carolina. Please visit their website at supericybrothers.com. And also my sponsor, Sweet Tea Cafe, located at 125 Elk Ave in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Please follow them at Sweet Tea Cafe on Facebook and Instagram. All right, so today in the building, we got a special guest. And I don't believe I can really say, I'm going to say this. I've been knowing Bump, man, like a long time. But at the end of the day, it's a familiar face in the community. If you don't know Bump, I don't know where you've been or what's going on with you, man. But William Bump Roddey is here on the podcast today, brother. What's up, man?
Man, it's good to be here. Good to be here. Glad to have you.
Man, I'm glad you're here, man. We got a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah,
lot going on.
To the business. We got to get down to the business.
lot going on, man. You running around getting things done, a lot of irons in the fire. But first things first, I've been seeing these signs everywhere all over Rock Hill. Turf King. Let's talk about Turf King, man. For those of the people of Rock Hill running around seeing these signs like I have that don't know about what Turf King is, let's talk about it.
So, man, Turf King is the baby of a few of the brothers here in Rock Hill who played sports, grew up in sports. Jabril Few, who's a stellar athlete over at South Point, went on to have a good college career. Jay Currents, who had a good career over at Northwestern Miami.
Yeah, I know Jay.
His son's doing big things over at South Point now. Rodney Brown, who's been involved with some youth programming here in Rock Hill. I'm just the ambassador. I'm the face of the Turf King. I was selected as the official ambassador to go around to promote this event.
Okay.
So these guys done a lot behind the scenes to get it together, and they needed a champion, a true champion of sports and athletics and definitely football. And I'll tell them and I tease them all the time, y'all couldn't have picked a better ambassador.
Yeah.
I'm going to toot my horn because I know football. I love the game. I know the city. I love the city. And, man, we've been talking Football City USA for many, many years.
Right.
We put – the last time I heard, we put 42 NFL athletes.
42? I thought it was like 30. Okay.
We've surpassed 40. So we're up around 42 NFL athletes from right here in our area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that says a lot coming from small town USA, Rock Hill, South Carolina. And, man, this Football City USA tag is stuck with us. And I tell people, yeah, we have more than just football athletes here. We got doctors, lawyers, preachers, teachers, musicians, rappers, singers, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But football is what we're primarily known for when you visit other areas. That don't mean that's no knock on our baseball players, our basketball players, our soccer players, or anything that other kids are doing coming through. But, man, to have 42 athletes from our community and surrounding area grace the stage of an NFL franchise, that's unheard of for a population our size. So, for Turf King, man, we got 2 superpower games coming to town. We have the rematch of the North Carolina State Championship from 2021, Cardinal Gibbons and Chambers right out of North Carolina. And the big game, the night game, we have state champion Gaffney Indians, and everybody know Gaffney Indians come to town. They're going to bring 3,000-4,000 fans going up against our very own South Point Stallion, who were state champs as well. So this is the first time in North Carolina history a rematch is happening in week 1. This is the first time in South Carolina history your 5A state champions is playing your 4A state champions in week 1. Okay. And we have a super game lineup at District 3 stadiums. It's going to be packed. It's going to be 10,000 people just like it was in the 90s when I played. So we're trying to pack the stadium to show our South Point kids love, show our community some love, and show our fellow people that's coming from North Carolina what South Carolina football is all about.
Man, that is amazing. That is amazing to be able to, to have a resurgence of that energy. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, back in the day when we came up and packing out that stadium and having those great games, and y'all bringing that back, man, through Turf King. And I agree. They couldn't have had a better ambassador because it's definitely out there. If you don't know, I don't know where you've been. You walking around or riding around Rock Hill with your eyes closed, man, because it's definitely a big, huge event. So the first game is this Saturday coming up.
This Saturday was a doubleheader with the rematch. First game starts at 4:30, and South Point is our nightcap.
All right, so Is it tickets being pre-sales, anything like that?
Tickets on sales now. You can go to power98fm.com. You can go to kiss95.1.com. Visit yorkcounty.com. You can get on my Facebook page. Just Google Turf Kings and ticket sites are going to pop up from everywhere.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So there you go. Make sure y'all get your tickets now, because he already let you know that thing going to be packed. It's going to be off the chains. And, man, I'm going to have to make sure I get me a ticket and get on up in there and see what's going on, man. You know, got the Turf King merch, man. You know what I'm saying? Got this popping. Y'all going to have the merch on sale there as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, definitely make sure y'all get your merch. Can they get the merch now and then wear it to the game?
We have some pre-sales, and we also going to have some vendor tables set up selling the Turf King shirts, man.
Okay.
We've thought of everything with this event.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Any y'all gonna have to do a halftime show? Great halftime show out there.
Well, you know, of course, the band. We thought if the Panthers were still involved in this thing coming this way, we thought about getting the pep band or whatever for the Panthers to come out and do something. But we all know what happened with that project coming to Rock Hill.
All right. So, okay, so let's get into it. What's the update on the Panther Stadium, man? Practice facility. What's going on with the practice facility, man? Because a lot of folks was looking forward to this, excited about it, and then we all know what happened.
Man, this thing we had the game changer in hand, ready to go. We pulled the trigger. We did our part. We put a great deal on the table for the Panthers to come here. Our state reps did. They changed laws in South Carolina to make this deal happen.
Mm-hmm.
So they did what they needed to do in Columbia. The city of Rock Hill did what they thought they needed to do. York County, we did our part. The school district did our part. Man, we had a great plan for them to move here, had some financial options in place, and obviously the economy did what it did. Costs went up, and honestly, the city of Rock Hill had some issues, obviously securing the funding.
Mm-hmm.
$225 million is not a small feat to go out and secure. You know, you have to go through the whole bonding process, and things were going along pretty good, and payments were missed. Regardless of what you heard, I'm telling you what I know. Payments were missed. Deadlines were pushed back, and the Panthers kept building. They kept putting the money on the table, but at some point, you got to pay the piper. You got to come through on what you signed on the dotted line and say you were going to deliver. And when that didn't happen, that's when March 7th rolled around, the Panthers put a pause on the project. Waited 30 days, and obviously they notified the city of Rock Hill through a default letter, gave them 30 days to cure it. Just like if anyone had a foreclosure on their home, you got 30 days to rectify whatever the discrepancy is. So after 30 days, Rock Hill couldn't put the money on the table. So that's when we saw Temper Sports and Entertainment pull the agreement, basically canceling the contract to move forward with the remaining portion of the project. And so that, man, turned our world upside down. We had people move here to start businesses, to get in the pipeline.
Right.
We had people buying property in and around where this facility was going. The Panthers came in, they actually bought Waterford Golf Course. Ralph Norman bought the Galleria Mall with big hopes and plans of doing things. So people were coming here because it is a big deal. This was supposed to rival what Jerry Jones did out in Frisco, Texas with the Star. You know, he moved that stadium over there and a whole town built up around it. And this was the same attitude. This was the same plan when the Panthers were moving just south of the border to come to Rock Hill, because we know how big football is in this country. And we definitely know how big football is in the city of Rock Hill in the state of South Carolina, man. So this was the perfect choice and perfect location. But on the back end of the deal, payments were missed. Money wasn't put on the table. And a lot of people are going to hurt and suffer from this who invested in what was coming down the pipe. And can you imagine, you're a smaller type business and you land a piece of this project to provide them with materials, and you go out on a limb and you're probably borrowing capital to get inventory or get supplies, and you're delivering these supplies. And then in the middle of the supply chain, when payments are due, the Panthers throw their hands up and say, well, we can't make this payment. You know, what does a small business do? Some of these contracts were going to take a small business to the next level.
Right.
But in this case now, it took a small business that went out on a limb and sunk these companies. So I know a lot of vendors got hurt by this. A lot of big vendors got hurt by it because they got money still on the table that they have yet to receive. And now they got to go through the bankruptcy procedure to try to recoup, not 100%, They're hoping they get a reasonable portion because they're going to owe that to someone else once they receive that payment.
Right. Now, it's been said, that the Carolina Panthers owner, David Tepper, offered $82 million to this abandoned practice facility project. So is that something that's, where's that at? You know what I'm saying? Like as far as that proposal.
So that just came out this past week. And my understanding is that was an offer made to the bankruptcy court for consideration.
Okay.
To, hey, this is what we're proposing to eliminate our debt, to be able to walk away from it. That still is pending. That won't be heard from or heard of until we're told somewhere around October.
Okay.
Because this is high stakes. This is big business. And truth be told, that number probably needs to be about $100 million because, anytime you go to bankruptcy, you don't go to bankruptcy to pay the whole note. You go to bankruptcy to pay pennies on the dollar of what's owed. So the good part about what I saw on that layout was the $21.16 million that we gave for the Mount Gallant Road project is in there to be repaid at the full money. So we'll get back every dime that we put in. But I think there's more to be had because there are a ton of costs that went into, whether it's our staff time, whether it's everything that went into this deal from York County's perspective. It cost us more than $21.165 million. So obviously there should be a little more on the table, and we have avenues that we can pursue to try to recoup that and then some. But my thoughts and concern is obviously going to be with those smaller vendors who took a chance, sign a contract to deliver the goods and services. They're not going to get their full payback. Right. They're going to be left. Somebody's going to be left holding the bag. And, we didn't want taxpayers holding the bag, but somebody's going to have to take a short, as we call it. And we don't know how big or how small that's going to be. But definitely some companies were hurt financially. Some companies probably went under because they laid it all on the line because this was a real big deal for them.
Yeah, man, that's very unfortunate, and this is one of those things where you got all these expectations and high hopes for a big project like this because it's from what I'm seeing, it's an $800 million practice facility.
That was going to be upwards of $1 billion, and some people can't count. Some people can't count past 1,000. Right,
man.
This was a game changer for the East Coast in our region. But this was the project. You look for when you're serving in an elected capacity like I am, there are going to be small wins along the way. But this was the home run. This was the game changer that was going to change for generations because everybody talks about jobs. Where can my son or daughter go get a job? Not everybody's going to go to college and get the high degree and work in corporate America. We need those service jobs. We need those prestige jobs. We need those advertising and marketing jobs. And a lot of that was coming along with the Panthers. They were part of what people don't realize and what they were going to do also outside of that practice facility. They were going to have retail commercial office space to where companies could relocate into Rock Hill and be in one of Tepper's 4, 5, 6-story floor buildings running their outfit inside of that facility. So jobs were going to come because one thing about it, money follows money. And if David Tepper, one of the richest NFL owners, put something in Rock Hill, he had the clout and the resources to pull other investments that he was going to have locate right here in Rock Hill. Right. And that's where jobs were going to come in beyond what the practice facility and headquarters was going to provide. You hear people say, well, they were just going to move 20 miles down the road. They were going to basically bring their full operation. Yeah, part of that was true, but there were going to be some jobs to be had along with those he was going to go out who wanted to be close to that kind of power because let's face it, David Tepper is a powerful man in his industry, what he does for a living, as well as how he's come on as an NFL owner. Now, I don't know what the NFL thinks about how he's backing out of some of these deals because we're seeing it in South Carolina with us. We're seeing it in North Carolina with Charlotte. So that doesn't bode well for the Panthers' image. But what the Panthers got to do to make people forget about the business dealings of their owner is we got to put a good product on the field. We got to win some games. We got to get to the playoffs. We got to win a Super Bowl. And people will forget about the failed Rock Hill project. They'll forget about the project that they pulled out of at Eastland Mall. They'll be talking about, look at the Panthers playing in the Super Bowl. That's, winning cures a lot of those off the field issues. And I think that's one thing that the Panthers really got to get back focused on is putting a good product on the field, and getting back to that championship caliber football team.
Yeah, they do, man, because I think I speak for all the Panthers fans, but I miss the days when they was a good team, man, and all the good energy around that, to keep pounding days. Like where that's at, man. Like this is what we dealing with right now. So you did say we getting our money back from the 21 million, because I know that I seen that it was announced that we was gonna sue for that money.
we got lawsuits on the table, even outside of this bankruptcy loss. Even outside of this bankruptcy filing, we filed, and when I say we, York County has filed a lawsuit against Tepper Sports, David Tepper, and anything that he has basically access to. We filed a lawsuit against those companies, those revenues, as well as we filed suits against the city of Rock Hill, because we totally believe that had Rock Hill borrowed the money, put the money on the table, the Panthers would still be building. So when that money didn't come to the table, something has to cause the downfall. Tepper didn't stop building because he had the money that was guaranteed to him. Tepper stopped building because the money that was guaranteed to him wasn't on the table. And so just like dominoes, if that first domino don't fall, nothing falls. If it stays in the upright position, nothing falls. And the money not coming on the table caused that domino to fall, and it had a ripple effect throughout our community, throughout our economy, and the future plans of what we hope for here in the city of Rock Hill.
Absolutely, man. So hopefully all that stuff will get ironed out, man. We can see what we can get done to move forward with that project, because I think it'll be amazing for the city. I know it'll be amazing for the city. I was looking forward to it because we like right behind it over
right
here.
Across the street. Yeah, absolutely.
Man, so that's what we're looking for, man. So you got your signs out. I've been seeing, you ready to get reelected here, District 4. Let's talk about that campaign, man.
We're getting ready. Getting ready. I put a lot of things on hold because, I put a lot into this Turf King. This is the first year for that event. So I've kind of held off, but we're right here, the game this weekend. So we're now starting to transition into the next big thing that Bump Roddey is about to do is run for re-election. I've been elected 5 times. The voters, I think they love me. Otherwise, they would have voted against me a long time ago. I think, if I can honestly say, I put the time in, I put the work in. Obviously, you're not going to make 100% of the people satisfied. Right. And I tell people, if that's your goal, getting into this business of politics, you fail from the beginning. Right. The goal is obviously do good when you can and hold the front. When it all the times, have I had some wins in my day? Absolutely. Have I had some things slip through my fingers? Absolutely. Right. And, going back to my football playing days, I didn't catch every pass that they threw to me. But I caught enough to set the record when I was there. There you go. That at the end of the day, you want to have those winning moments, and then you have those teachable moments. And I remind people, I am the only Democrat sitting on council. I have 6 other colleagues who all represent a different party. Okay. I'm the only minority that sits up there. So I'm in from the fight from the beginning. Right. Everything that I'm able to get through, it's not an easy fight. It's not an easy task. But being the longest serving council member, my voice and my experience and my financial background carries a lot of weight. A lot of people that sit up there, we have 2 attorneys. Okay. 3 business owners who sign their own paycheck, and another gentleman, I think he's probably a higher up in his company. But I'm the only council member that's serving on the York County Council, I believe, that still signs the back of a paycheck. And what that means is I still go to work. I've been on my job for 25 years out of what used to be called Bowater. We've changed names 3 times, but I'm at the same company. And I'm in December, it'll be 25 years. So, I know what it's like to make a commitment to a company. I know what it's like to make a commitment to a community. I know what it's like to make a commitment to my wife. And I know what it's like to make a commitment to what Bump Roddey say he's going to do, he's going to do it. And that's the only thing I got to put on the table to show people I'm committed to what I do. I'm not in this week, out next week, doing something new and getting rid of the old. The old is still new to me. Right. And the new part is still addressing these challenges that come up, because we're facing things in 2022 that wasn't even on the table in 2020, 2019, 2018, or even when I got started and first elected, going back to 2011. So, things have evolved. Things have gotten better in some cases, and some things have just held stagnant. And we're still trying to address those things that have become stagnant in our community. And we all know I represent the South Side, and the South Side has been stagnant for 30 years.
Right.
You know, and so we're trying to address some things. I know Clinton College was working on the Clinton Connection. They still got that thing going.
Right.
There are some things that have been proposed to try to assist the South Side of Rock Hill that are going through, and there are some things that came up to assist the South Side that are not going through. And we got to work on those things that haven't been able to get through. We got to get some things in place that makes it right, makes it the best fit. You know, just because you got a plan don't mean that's the best plan.
Right.
You know, so we got to massage some of the things that have come up to make it right, so make it sustainable. We want to see, do we want to see retail restaurants? I mean, franchise restaurants? Absolutely. Do we want to see franchise retail clothing stores or businesses? Absolutely. But we got to get the right plan in place that would allow that to happen, so that it doesn't come in and overwhelm and impact a community so fast that the community that we came in to help is no longer there. Because we've seen gentrification happen when you do things overnight. It happens so fast. When you got people who can't hardly afford to pay a $500-$600 rent, now everything's new. That $500-$600 rent goes to $1,100-$1,200.
16, 17. Yeah.
So we're seeing that, and so people see we want something to happen. We want it to happen right now, but there are consequences when it happens too fast. I remember when things were happening in North Carolina, and you heard people kicking and screaming. You know, we're getting forced out. We're getting forced out. Come to the South Side of Rock Hill. We're starting to hear those same conversation that the city of Charlotte, North Carolina was saying 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And if you go to South Charlotte right now, if you hadn't been there in 10 years, you wouldn't recognize it. It's happening so fast. It's forcing people out. And is that the person's fault who owns the property, who owns the land? Probably not, because they're doing it to make a profit. But you got to be mindful of what you're about to do and how fast you're doing it. Some people are still making $8, $9, $10 an hour, and now they're facing $1,600, $1,200, $1,300 rent.
Right,
you know,
right.
Where are they going to go now? So you're going to start seeing more people move to a less expensive community. You may move to York, they move to Lancaster, they move to Chester, because those areas haven't had the growth and the development that we're seeing now. All of Rock Hill, and now it's coming to the South Side of Rock Hill.
Right, yeah, and you know, I was a part of the Clinton Connection development early on, and you know, kind of seeing where we are now and what's getting ready to take place. So you was at the demolition party in that area, right there. Talk about what the plans are for the area for those of the people that was out there that don't really know. They were just out there to have a good time, but a lot of people or whatever wanting to know, like, what's the plans for the area? Well,
overall, that's a plan that obviously the city of Rock Hill, city council, and Vincent James put together. It's called 3 Points, and they're going to have a new development come there with commercial retail, a little new vibrant thing that's gonna hopefully jumpstart more redevelopment. Because as we say in this business, when dirt turns over, more dirt turns over. And it's just like money follows money. You know, if we get something new starting on that block, something new is going to come on the next block, and something new is going to come on the ensuing block. But we've been waiting on, everybody call it the Walmart property that sits across from Southland Park. If you go back to when the Galleria was built, way back when,
the 80s,
the next plan was for the next phase of that was to come across from Southland Park. It was going to be called Stonegate. Well, some plans fell through, and the developer at the Galleria decided not to do it. And Walmart's held that property for years and years, and nobody can get their hands on it. Nobody wants to sell it. And so that was supposed to be the next big thing for the South Side of Rock Hill 20 years ago. It never happened. That property still sits vacant today. And that's the kind of size property you need to come in to build something major outside of a 2-3 acre tract. That's probably 30-40 acres over there that you can actually transform and transition a entire community. Because back in those days, we didn't have Carnegie Estates, we didn't have Sweetwater, we didn't have Holly Hills, we didn't have the Taylor Oaks. Now we got all those rooftops. And what developers look at is, if I build something here on a retail level, what's going to support it in the surrounding area? Well, now we have people with good paying jobs. We have rooftops. There's a ton of people that have moved and located to the South Side. But the unfortunate thing is, you have to drive from the South Side of Rock Hill to the north side or the western side to get your goods and services. There's not a lot of amenities. There's not a lot of access. One thing being a food desert, you have to travel so far to get to the nearest grocery store. And that's one of the things that's going to come. I said the works are going into the 3 points to address the food desert situation. So we got to start putting things up in the community so that the community can survive. I used analysis years ago. If you used to put a fence up around the south side of Rock Hill, there's not enough goods and services inside of that area that area can sustain itself. We have to be climbing over the fence to get to medical surgery. We'll be climbing over the fence to get to a doctor's office or even, I don't even know if there's a dry cleaner on the south side of Rock Hill. You know, I get my clothes dry cleaned. So where I got to go get my clothes dry cleaned. Right. You know, if I want to go to the dentist, I got to go outside. So we want to make sure that we're starting to put goods and services in the immediate area so that you don't have to travel miles to get something to eat, miles to get services that you need to take care of your family. So
you're basically proposing that we have more of a complete neighborhood where the businesses and homes are more in a close proximity.
We got to have those. And if you look at what's primarily on the south side has grown in residential, not new commercial, not new job growth. You know, people should be able to or feel comfortable if there's a job located in their immediate area. But if you get on 77, and it's not going to change overnight, it's not probably going to change in the next 20 years. Because the manufacturing jobs in this area, what pays, you know, you got the Black & Decker, you got Siemens, and years ago we had General Tire, all those jobs up on Western House. People travel to those better paying jobs. You know, you're going to get the retail jobs here locally. You're going to get the sandwich shops, the restaurants, in which they pay pretty decent, but that's not something that's going to take you to that next level. That's not going to be transitional wealth or transitional income coming in. But for the most part, you know, the South Side has put a lot of homes there, but we do got to get back to putting those basic needs in the heart of that community in that South Side of Rock Hill.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. That's good stuff, and I agree with you. I agree that we definitely need to definitely get to a point or whatever where we understand all the needs in the south side of Rock Hill and meet those needs. We're talking with William Bump Roddey, and we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. You're listening to the Mr. DARKEYE podcast right here on Anchor FM. New soul music, the home of motivation to trust God and live your dreams. What up, people? It's Mr. DARKEYE, the Mr. DARKEYE podcast, motivation to trust God and live your dreams. We're at the Carolina place, Marlin, North Carolina. Super icy brothers, man. We getting ready to go inside and get some of these super delicious Italian ices. If you ain't getting these joints, I don't know what you're doing. Stop playing. What's up, man? How you doing? Hey, I'm trying to get me some of these super delicious Italian ices out this piece, bro. Strawberry lemonade. Let me get a small. Strawberry lemonade. Can't go wrong with strawberry lemonade, man. It's summertime. You know what I'm saying? So it's the flavors for the summer. Strawberry lemonade.
Need some napkins or anything?
Yeah, because I get a little messy. I might get a little messy. I'm going to be getting it in. Oh, perfect timing. Look at that. Look at that. You see it. You see it. Make sure y'all tune in. Get that motivation. You be sitting at the restaurant, you hungry, you waiting on your food to come out or whatever. You keep looking over there, see where the waiter at. That's how I feel right now, you know what I'm saying? It's time to get it in, see how I show up right on time. Bam, just like that right there. Now how they look right there? Ain't that sexy? I know it's sexy. Let me show y'all, I'm gonna show y'all something. This is how you do it right here. You gotta come off the top with it. You know what I'm saying? That's it right there. That lemonade tingling right there. But that's it. Make sure you get some of that super icy butter. Premium, baby. All right, welcome back, people. You're listening to the Mr. DARKEYE podcast right here on Anchor FM. New soul music, the home of motivation to trust God and live your dreams. We're talking with William Bump Roddey, man. Real quick though, man. I always thought, well, years ago, because you always been like close knit with my family and everybody or whatever.
Flint Hill Baptist Church. Flint Hill Baptist Church.
But like I never knew your real name was William. I've always known you as Bump. Real quick, man. I want to throw that in there. And another thing too, man. What I want to tell you is, back when I was doing Grown Man Talk, you remember that Grown Man Talk at Ace Platinum Cuts?
Okay.
At the barbershop.
Yeah.
You remember when I was doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my last one that I did that you came to, you were supposed to be the guest speaker and none of the guys showed up, right? But I never told you this, man, but I wanted to tell you, man, that the fact that you stayed and you and I just had a conversation, you know what I'm saying? And you just kind of poured into me and me and you had Grown Man Talk, just the two of us.
Yeah.
The fact that you did that, brother, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was something that, you know, I appreciated you for, man, because I was a little disappointed that day that none of the guys showed up. I'm like, what's going on? But the fact that you stayed, we had a great conversation, man. You just kind of poured into me and told me, you know, just keep going and you don't let stuff discourage me and things of that nature, man. So salute to you on that.
There's a ton of things that people do every day, like yourself, me, and probably people that's outside of this room that they do that never gets broadcast, that never gets the limelight. But those are necessary steps in my growth, your growth. And let's be real, sometimes we pour into other people. Yeah, we're helping them, but at the same time, it's filling a void or a need that's in us, because you don't pour into somebody something that's not in you already.
Right.
So if whatever we get, if we don't share it, it'll never grow.
Yeah.
You know, so man, I appreciate the sentiments, and you brought the memory back. But it's just one of those things that we got to continue pouring into people and teaching people and giving them that same inspiration, because somebody gave it to me. Right. It's no good if I keep it. We got to give it to somebody else. Just like you've been a blessing to many, many people through the many different podcasts you've done. Many different people that have sat in this very seat. I'm sure y'all had some real good, intimate conversations, and they probably left here a changed person.
Yeah, man. Definitely, absolutely, brother. So yeah, it's so important that we pour into each other, and you know, I'm grateful for the platform. Definitely grateful for the platform. So we was talking earlier, and we mentioned about York County leading the nation in job growth. It was back in 2016, 2017.
2017, and that's one of the things that, you know, while you're sitting there making these offers and deals to companies to relocate here, you're never sitting there thinking, man, we got to do this so we can move up in the ranks. We got to do this just so we can get more in our belt. And so when the numbers came out, and York County was at the top of the board for new job growth. And what that means is companies that have relocated here through some kind of financial incentive package or just happen to be coming. But I'll tell you, any jobs, any companies that locate here or relocate here, they're going to come and ask for some kind of incentive. And that was part of the whole Panthers deal. They wanted some incentives to bring their franchise across the border. But anytime we have LPL that's up in Fort Mill, different companies that have located on that campus, you know, we've given tax breaks, tax incentives, because our job as county councilmen is to provide infrastructure for the community, jobs for the community. It kind of goes parallel with what the city does, but the city does it inside the city limits, and we do it solely in the unincorporated areas into the county. So man, you know, bringing different companies. I remember the car seat company that's located up off of Carwin, Britex or something like that. They make car seats. I know they came in under those during that time. And so man, we get to go around and tour some of these different facilities once they get up. And when we walk through and we see the workers, whether they're on a production floor, assembly line, just knowing that I had a small part in approving whatever that agreement was, whatever that deal was that brought that company here, that gave that man or that woman a job, that they can ultimately feed their family and make a decent living. And so those are some of the most rewarding moments. Yeah, we didn't get a trophy. We didn't pop the champagne on the 50-yard line for leading the nation in job growth. But at the end of the day, we brought jobs here and brought them in a major way to where we led the country. You know, little old York County. And you know, we talked about people saying football city USA. We do more than just football here. We're doing big things that go below the radar that most people don't even know we're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you. And to be here myself all my life, and see the growth of where we at now is amazing to me. So when it comes down to Rock Hill, for you, when it comes down to Rock Hill, do you feel like it's a healthy, successful city when it comes down to things like safety, thriving businesses, and do you feel like people really like Rock Hill, like spending time here?
I'll say I love it here. I love it because I grew up here. I know the lay of the land. I don't have these unreasonable expectations. Are we ever going to have a culture like New York?
Yeah.
Are we ever going to have a culture like LA?
Atlanta?
Absolutely not. But we have a culture that I'm comfortable in. I've traveled many places, had some great times, love to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there.
Yeah.
Let me get back to Rock Hill.
Yeah.
Because this is home, this is my environment. And believe it or not, I tell this story more times than you would believe.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been outside of Rock Hill / York County for more than 7 days.
Okay.
I'll take a vacation. I'll go on a cruise, 4 or 5 days, maybe hit 6 days.
Uh-huh.
If I ain't back inside of York County's borders in 7 days, the world may stop. I just, I don't know. It's not intentional, but I've never taken a 7-day vacation. I've never taken an 8-day vacation.
Yeah.
And for us, we get away for a weekend and a long weekend and come back on a Monday. That's good enough for us.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be home on my couch with my feet propped up watching the TV.
Yeah.
But man, I like it here so much. I've had opportunities, as you can imagine, to go away, do other stuff. But my family's here. I was born and raised here, and I know the people here love me, and I get a lot of social media stuff, and I came across this thing Kevin Gates said, go where you celebrate it, not where you tolerate it.
Right.
Celebrate it here. So why go anywhere else? Why try to reinvent the wheel? Why reinvent somebody else that loves you when you can be right here? Mama's here, family's here. I'm not that ambitious that I feel like I got to go out and conquer the world in another city. I'm not a basketball player where I say, well, I got a championship team here. I'm going to go play for the Atlanta Hawks and see if I'm that good to bring a championship to Atlanta. No, I'm bringing a championship right here to Rock Hill, and that's why I do what I do, and I love what I do.
There you go. So what's some of your favorite places to go in Rock Hill? Like where bump go?
Man, when I want to just kick back and run into some guys that I went to school with or play ball with, I go over to the local kickstand,
okay,
bar and grill.
Kickstand.
I have my fried chicken sandwich. I have my fried okra.
There you go.
And I have me a cocktail. Now, if I'm just doing the middle of the day, when I'm just riding and I need something to eat, I'm on the south side, I'm on Saluda, I'm pulling the Gourmet Soul, and the ladies over there know I'm going to get me 2 hot dogs and some fried okra. They're like, what kind of combination is that? So that's me. That's
so
home.
you got to have your fried okra. I see.
I'm an okra kind of guy.
Yeah.
And it ain't boiled okra, it's fried.
It ain't stew. You don't like that stew stuff? No, you like the fried okra.
And just like you mentioned, having the grown man talk. I pull up at the barbershop.
Right.
Hang out at the barbershop for 2 hours if I got some time.
There you go.
Because you see people where they at. You meet people where they at. I don't expect people to flood the county council meetings. I don't expect people to come out to certain grand openings. People got their thing, but I will meet you where you at. You ain't got to come see me where I'm at. I know where people go, and I pulled up on a cookout yesterday. I went in the backyard, hung out. I had my mama with me. We stopped. We pulled up, and people give you love. I mean, so that's what Rock Hill is to me. I can't get that if I move to Charlotte. I can't get that if I move to Atlanta, because I don't know anybody in those areas.
Right.
I can adapt, but it'll take me.
Home is home, though.
It'll take me 20 plus years, and probably then some, to feel like I'm a part of a community in Atlanta, or feel like I'm a part of a community in DC somewhere. But hey, if somebody want to uproot the family, we can put a price on that too. Because I know I got some skills and talents that can operate and be successful outside of Rock Hill. But why go anywhere else, man? Rock Hill loves me.
There you go. Definitely, brother. All right. So what do you feel like is more important when it comes to Rock Hill? Is it building and adding and rehabbing, or expanding and better utilizing what we already have?
Man, we got to take care of some things that have kind of slipped by the wayside, because those things that have gone down is pull people down with them. Some of our most prestigious communities that I grew up in have gone down. You know, I grew up on Roddey Street, and we had Midtown Apartments right behind us. You would have thought we were on the Upper East Side when we were growing up, but as we grew up and grew out, that area went down, and those apartments are no longer there. Drugs came in, violence came in, and so it was so bad. They had to just tear down all the apartments. And of course, they had gotten older, but you see what they're doing over now in Westgate. They moved everybody out. They refurbishing and rebuilding that community. $300,000 houses going up right in front of Westgate. You know, can those people that were living in Westgate apartments move right across the street in those houses? Absolutely not. You know, if you go over to the Flint Hill community and Green Street community, you had the neighborhood stores that you could walk 2 blocks and get soda. You can get whatever you wanted from that store. We don't have those neighborhood stores no more. You know, you have to get over to Saluda and you know, seeing who has moved into our communities and running these stores and making a living and making a profit off the community. Those people that run those stores, and we're thankful that they're there. But I would much rather go open that door and see somebody that lived in that community own that store, not somebody who just came and drive over to the community from 8 to 10 at night and make money and then go back and live somewhere else. I want to see business owners who want to invest in our community, who live in our community, who respect our community, who will give back to our community. Because I can tell you right now, when our back to school kids need, when our students need, or when any other efforts that's needed in this community, when those arise in the community, some of these locations don't even see the need to support those efforts because they're just there to make a profit. They're not there to invest in the community. They're there to basically take from the community. So I want to see more of people that live in our communities invest back. You know, are we ever going to see a multi-million-dollar investment come to some areas? Probably not. But we can see the real entrepreneur who goes out on a limb and say, you know what, I can get something started over here for $20,000, $30,000, and let's see if the community will support me to get it going. You know, Gourmet Soul's been in their location now for several years. They've been only one of very few restaurants that can open up and be sustained by the community. KC's Little Grill on Saluda has been open for some years. Right. These are people that's from the community, live in the community, who are basically, they are the community. You know, so it's not too many places that we can go. Obviously, you got the Burger King, that's a franchise. You got the Shrimp Boat, they've been around, but those people don't live in our community. So we want to get back to respecting what it means to be a part of the community and put something back. You know, those 42 NFL guys that I mentioned, I'm gonna say this, very few, and I know Fat Cat, he's part of the 3 points. You know, he's putting in some work with the 3 points. But for us to have 42 NFL players in this community, out of this community, and we don't have that celebrated part of town that says these guys that have gone on in the league and made it to the highest level in their craft, but we can't come back to Rock Hill and see the Taj Mahal being put in one of our communities. I think that doesn't bode well. That doesn't say much for the people who've made it to that pinnacle as far as what they're doing back here in the hometown.
Yeah, yes, very true. I've often thought about that myself, you know, looking at who's coming back to the community and pouring back into it after, you know, you've reached a certain level of success and you have the influence, like who's actually doing that. And you're right, there's not very many. So, but we know who they are because we see them.
And I'll tell you what, if it had been Bump Roddey that made it to that level, those apartments that got torn down behind where I grew up, it'll be some apartments there. It'll be some houses. It'll be something there because you have to do that because, you know, it's not that, you know, people automatically just want to take from those individuals, but it's too much given, much required. That's the simplest way to put it. And you know, and some have, and I know these guys do stuff in their respective NFL cities, but this is home. These are the fans. These are the ones that loved you first before you couldn't bench press 250. These are the ones that sat in the rain at your high school football games, at your Pee Wee games, at your Little League games, that probably gave you 50 cents to get a honey bun at the vending machine when you didn't have. So we gotta remind people of remember those days, remember those times, because we all went through it. But at the same time, reach back. Let's make a difference in a major way. Yeah, kids love to come home, and when the guys come home and they got a football camp. Yeah, I get that. But I want to see these guys collectively get together, because they still enough power. They still got enough clout. They still got enough money to still do something in a major way. And I applaud. I call him Fat Cat. You know who I'm talking about. For getting involved with a project like the 3 Points to come back to the South Side and make an investment into the community.
Absolutely. How you feel about the transportation options and the traffic and stuff like that in Rock Hill? Like, how you feel about that? Because some people may say that we have a problem in that area.
Now, when they first started talking about the free bus system, I was like, okay, at some point you're going to have to charge for a free bus system, because you just can't make it free. I was real objective to the bus routes that they were putting in, because they basically only had routes running. They had a route running from Winthrop to what's our facility out here near the river? It's slipping my mind. But they had bus routes that were running all around certain areas that didn't reach the critical need areas. But one thing about how you're able to go out and get a federal grant that you can put it in a bus system and run it for free, you got to have the data to show there's a need for this transportation. Well, I'll tell you, they pulled the data from the South Side of people who didn't have a lot of transportation, plugged that into an application and a formula, got the bus system approved, got the funding for it, but didn't have the routes running through the neighborhoods that they just used the data from that says, here's why we need it. But they did go back, and fortunately for us, they were able to revamp and include some more areas, and we're still fighting, and I heard there's a plan going forward to try to include routes that do encompass more areas of need, because you've used our data, you've used our impoverished neighborhoods to get this money, but you're not running the buses into these areas, and that's a problem, because you're getting money on our backs, but you're not putting it in the communities that you just pull those numbers from. So that's a real big bone of contention with me.
Absolutely. Now, the zoning in Rock Hill, let's talk about that a little bit. Do you feel like or if you could change anything about the zoning code in Rock Hill, what would that be and why?
Man, like I say, I've been several different cities, and when I go to certain places, I say, wait a minute, you got this store next to this other operation. If that was in Rock Hill, York County, you could never have that. But it works for those areas. You know, we got some people who zoning does take precedent. It tells you what you can put on this piece of property, and it does tell you what can't locate right next to you. So, you know, you wouldn't want nobody having a car garage in the middle of a neighborhood. But who's to say you couldn't have? And you go back to when we had Game Time Sports Bar on 72. Well, at the back of the restaurant and sports bar was a neighborhood. 72 is a major road. You didn't want to allow a restaurant / sports bar open past 10 o'clock, but you're on a major road, but you said it butts up to a neighborhood. So certain things can work a lot better if we change some of the zoning and how zoning can come into play. One of the things we're working on right now, vigorously working on right now, we changed the rules that allow tattoos in York County. Tattoos been allowed in the state, but you had to have a zoning that says it can go here.
Okay.
Well, in the city of Rock Hill don't have a zoning to where you can allow tattoo shops. So for years, people been wanting to be able to tattoo, and let's face it, tons of people getting tattoos, tons of people got tattooed. There's a thing of some underground tattooing going on. Well, we want to make it legal so that it's safer, it's a taxable business, and it's something that we know a lot of people want. Now, we have liquor stores everywhere.
Right.
CBD shops everywhere.
Yeah.
But some people feel like, well, I don't like it, so I don't want it. It's not whether you like it. Is it Can it be, is it legal now? Yes, it's legal. Well, why are we making the rules so difficult for people to open up? So we're going through right now and massaging those rules and regulations that will help a tattoo establishment be able to come online in York County. It'll have to be in the unincorporated area because the city doesn't have a zoning that says a tattoo establishment can come here. But the county, we have a zoning now that says a tattoo establishment can operate in this zone, this zoning code. Here are the rules.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when you're elected, what's
Reelected.
reelected? Right, reelected. When you're reelected, what is, let's just say 3 steps. What are 3 steps you would take in regards to putting a firmer financial footing in Rock Hill?
Now, mind you, I'm on the county. So our county outfit doesn't really deal with Rock Hill finances.
Okay.
But one thing I will say is that whenever it comes up, because one thing that's in our toolbox that we do at the county, if the city of Rock Hill wants to borrow some funds to do certain things, I ain't afraid to bring it up. Let's say the Southside TIF that's connected with the Clinton Connection. If the city wants to borrow money to put the Southside TIF into place, my job is to make sure there's a payback plan.
Okay.
To ensure that we're not borrowing funds that we can't never pay back. We have what's called the Knowledge Park. That's a TIF. And what a TIF is where you take tax increment finances. So you're pledging future tax revenues to allow the city to go in and rebuild and revitalize the older area. There's a Southside TIF being proposed. The Southside TIF didn't get approved, one, because it didn't list the projects and associated costs. And then the third thing was there wasn't a payback plan that shows where's the investment going to come from to the value that you want to borrow. Now, mind you, when the Southside TIF came up, the Panthers were waiting on their $225 million. Mayor Geddes proposed $225 million for the Southside. That's $450 million. When we talk about financial stability, can't too many small town cities in America go out and secure $450 million. As you can see, the financing didn't come through with the 225 for the Panthers. And when I tell you, we made them jump through hoops, give us what you're going to put out here. What's the value of it? To show that it could pay back that $225 million. And most people don't know this, but the Panthers were going to pay $9.5 million a year in property taxes. We're going to take that $9.5 million and pay the bonds back that the city was supposed to borrow. That's the payback plan. That's assuring that, hey, if Rock Hill goes to borrow this money, the city, the county, and the school district is going to have $9 million on the table every single year to make these bond payments. That's doable. When it comes to things like what the Southside proposed or Mayor Geddes proposed to work with the Clinton Connection, those plans didn't exist. It wasn't a solid, well, we know we can put this X number of dollars on the table to make this payment back on the 225. So funny you mentioned about shoring up the city's finances. That's one way York County adds a level of protection to the taxpayers of Rock Hill, because we can sign off on any deal. We don't want to sign a deal that's going to run in the red. Now, the Knowledge Park TIF, this past year was the very first year since I've been on council for 12 years that the Knowledge Park TIF, well, it was the text, originally was 2 TIFs. We combined them. This is the very first year that TIF is in the black. It's in the black because they borrowed a small portion of money to put it in the black, because that was one of our stipulations. So we want to make sure that we're sound financial. We don't want any more bad financial deals, because city taxpayers are county taxpayers. And so it all goes together. If the city doesn't take care of its finances, it's going to cost our taxpayers even more in the long run. And I'm proud to say the board I serve on, which is York County Council, we have a AAA bond rating. And I would challenge anybody. We got the best in the state. So we know finances. Some of our counterparts, some of our other municipalities in Rock Hill, i.e. Rock Hill, and other parts of York County, they don't have that AAA. One thing is good for individuals, and one thing's good for a municipality or a community. You're only as good as the money you can go borrow. And when we say we can't borrow no more, we're in trouble. So York County, we can go out and borrow anything under the sun we want.
Absolutely.
Some municipalities can't do that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But, you know, just speaking, myself personally, man, speaking from knowing you all these years and just hearing your heart for Rock Hill, man, and the fact you live here, you care about, you know what we need. You've experienced the same thing we've experienced. And yeah, man, I just feel like it's so important to have somebody from the community that sits in the seat that can make those kind of decisions to help us and meet our needs and know what our needs are, man. We got a few minutes left. Go ahead and let the people know again about how they can get involved with Turf King and how they can support your campaign and all that good stuff, everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. Man, Turf King is the biggest high school event in the state of South Carolina and North Carolina. It's featuring 4 top 100 teams in the country as far as high school football goes. We have Chambers and Cardinal Gibbons, a state championship finals rematch being played right here in Rock Hill this Saturday, 4:30 p.m., followed by the nightcap, which is South Point versus Gaffney, 5A state championship, 5A state champions versus 4A state champions. Night game. It's going to be the biggest game. I know we're going to have 10-plus college coaches. I mean, major college coaches come to town because they want to see top athletes play against top athletes. They don't want to see South Point beat up on Indian Land or McBee. They want to see Gaffney and South Point go head-to-head. That's going to all go down this Saturday, August 20th. Tickets online right now. Power98fm.com, Kiss951. Visit York County. Just type in Turf King. That website is coming up to get these tickets. And, man, we're transitioning this week right now. Getting campaign signs up. We have a big election coming up. I'm up for my 6th re-election. Well, my 5th re-election, my 6th campaign for county council. And I feel like we got the best opponent we can hope for. You know, if it was anybody else, we may be in trouble. But this is the one, if I had to pick a candidate to run against right now at the state of what we're dealing with in our city and the state of what we're dealing with in this country, I couldn't have chosen a better candidate because I know my community is not going to allow me to be unseated to an individual who have gone out and showed what he's capable of doing, mishandling our trust, disrespecting and breaching the badge in the state of South Carolina. You know, it didn't happen just for a reason. It happened because it was intentional. And I tell people, if someone goes into a business and starts stealing or robbing, they typically don't get caught the first time. They get so comfortable doing it that they do it again and again, and eventually they get caught. So this is definitely not the first time an episode of this magnitude has happened. This is the first time this episode of this magnitude was caught on camera by innocent bystander and also the body cam to back it up. It's unfortunate our community went through it. We've dealt with it, but we're not going to put up with that kind of leadership thinking that they can put the badge down now because they can no longer serve and have a fallback career on a failed police career. You know, this is not something that you do because you're not successful at something else. This is something that you come to do because your heart's in it. You have something to bring to the table. And I've said this, and you'll hear this on the campaign. When I ran for county council in 2008, unsuccessfully, I ran because I can bring something to the table. I ran again in 2010 because I can bring something to the table. I wasn't looking for a job when I ran for county council. I was looking to bring my talents and my expertise to a body that I felt needed some representation. You know, so whether my opponent is looking for a job, but this is not the job that the citizens of Rock Hill and York County is going to gracefully give to him to be our leader. So, man, I'm just looking forward to another campaign, a successful one. We're looking for volunteers. We're looking for donations. Anything you can do to help to get us back reelected, we're here for it.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, you're definitely here for it, brother. Thank you so much for coming through, Bump, man. We really appreciate you, man, and all the things you're doing for Rock Hill. You've been listening to the Mr. DARKEYE podcast right here on Anchor FM, New Soul Music Radio. Man, we appreciate you, Bump. We'll see y'all next time, and we out.